Your life moves in the direction of your dominant thoughts. That single sentence holds the power to completely transform everything about your existence. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most influential self-help books ever written, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. This isn't just another feel-good philosophy. This is a practical roadmap that has changed millions of lives. And by the end of our time together, you'll understand exactly why your thoughts are the most powerful tool you possess. Norman Vincent Peale wasn't just a preacher or motivational speaker. He was a man who understood something fundamental about human nature that most people miss entirely. He realized that the quality of your thoughts doesn't just influence your mood or your day. Your thoughts literally reshape your destiny. They determine whether you succeed or fail, whether you're healthy or sick, whether you live with confidence or cripple yourself with fear. Think about this for a moment. Every single thing that exists in your life right now started as a thought in someone's mind. The chair you're sitting in, the device you're listening to this on, the building you're in, all of it began as an idea, a thought, before it became reality. If thoughts have that kind of creative power in the physical world, imagine what they're doing inside your own life every single day. Consider the Wright brothers, who were told that human flight was impossible. Their dominant thoughts weren't focused on the impossibility, but on the solution. They spent years thinking about lift, thrust, and aerodynamics. Their thoughts moved in the direction of flight, and eventually their life followed. Or think about Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. His dominant thoughts weren't about failure, but about the next attempt, the next possibility, the inevitable breakthrough. The core idea that Peale presents is beautifully simple, yet profoundly powerful. Positive thinking isn't about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring real problems. It's about approaching life with a fundamental belief that solutions exist, that you have the capability to handle whatever comes your way, and that good outcomes are not only possible, but probable when you align your thoughts correctly. When you think positively, something remarkable happens in your brain and your behavior. A hopeful mind creates powerful action. You start looking for opportunities instead of obstacles. You begin to see possibilities where others see dead ends. Your energy shifts from defensive to creative, from reactive to proactive. This isn't wishful thinking. This is strategic thinking that positions you for success. Imagine two people facing the same challenge, let's say losing their job. The person with negative dominant thoughts immediately begins catastrophizing. They think about running out of money, about being rejected in interviews, about their career being over. Their thoughts create anxiety, which leads to desperate behavior, poor interview performance, and often exactly the outcomes they feared. The person with positive dominant thoughts approaches the same situation differently. They see the job loss as an opportunity to find something better, to reassess their career path, or to finally pursue that dream they'd been putting off. Their thoughts create energy and optimism, which leads to confident networking, better interview performance, and often opportunities they never would have discovered otherwise. But here's what most people get wrong about positive thinking. They think it means you should just repeat happy thoughts and everything will magically work out. That's not what Peale taught at all. True positive thinking is about training your mind to focus on solutions, to expect good outcomes, and to maintain faith in your ability to create the life you want. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success, because your thoughts and actions are aligned with positive outcomes. The foundation of everything Peale teaches rests on one critical principle: self-belief. Without genuine belief in yourself, positive thinking becomes nothing more than empty affirmations. Self-belief is the foundation of success, and it's something that can be developed and strengthened like any other skill. Most people struggle with self-belief because they've been conditioned to focus on their limitations rather than their potential. They've internalized years of criticism, failure, and disappointment until they genuinely believe they're not capable of achieving great things. Peale understood that this pattern had to be broken before any real progress could be made. Think about how this conditioning happens. From childhood, many people hear more about what they can't do than what they can do. Teachers, parents, and peers often focus on mistakes rather than progress. The media constantly reinforces messages of limitation and scarcity. Over time, these external voices become internal voices, creating a mental soundtrack of self-doubt that plays constantly in the background. The process starts with replacing feelings of inferiority with faith. This means consciously choosing to focus on your strengths, your past successes, and your potential, rather than dwelling on your weaknesses or failures. It means stopping the constant stream of negative self-talk that runs through most people's minds like a toxic soundtrack. When you believe, your behavior changes automatically. You start taking actions that successful people take. You speak with more confidence. You pursue opportunities you would have previously avoided. You persist through challenges instead of giving up at the first sign of difficulty. This isn't about fake confidence or pretending to be something you're not. This is about recognizing and acting on the genuine potential that exists within you. Daily visualization becomes a crucial practice in building this self-belief. Peale advocated spending time each day mentally rehearsing success, seeing yourself achieving your goals and experiencing the feelings associated with those achievements. This isn't daydreaming. This is mental training that prepares your subconscious mind to recognize and pursue the opportunities that will make your goals reality. Athletes have known this secret for decades. Olympic champions don't just practice their physical movements, they spend hours visualizing perfect performances. They see themselves crossing the finish line, landing the perfect routine, or making the winning shot. When the moment comes, their minds and bodies are already familiar with success because they've experienced it hundreds of times in their imagination. One of the most profound aspects of Peale's teaching involves the power of faith and prayer. Now, regardless of your religious beliefs, the principles he outlines have practical psychological benefits that anyone can access. Faith, in this context, isn't necessarily about religious doctrine. It's about developing an unshakable trust in your ability to handle whatever life presents. Prayer, whether you view it as communication with a higher power or simply as focused meditation and reflection, provides inner strength that reduces fear and anxiety. When you take time to calm your mind, to reflect on your values and goals, and to connect with something larger than your immediate concerns, you restore confidence and perspective. The research on meditation and prayer consistently shows that these practices lead to reduced stress hormones, improved immune function, and better decision-making abilities. A peaceful mind performs better in every area of life. When you're not constantly battling anxiety and fear, your mental resources are freed up for creative problem-solving and productive action. Consider the difference between making important decisions from a place of panic versus a place of peace. When you're anxious and stressed, your thinking becomes narrow and reactive. You focus on immediate threats rather than long-term opportunities. You make choices based on fear rather than wisdom. But when your mind is calm and centered, you can see the bigger picture. You can weigh options more carefully. You can access your intuition and creativity. Trust removes anxiety because it shifts your focus from what might go wrong to what you can control. Instead of wasting mental energy worrying about every possible negative outcome, you develop the confidence to handle challenges as they arise. This doesn't mean you become reckless or stop planning. It means you stop paralyzing yourself with excessive worry about things that may never happen. The connection between your thoughts and your physical health is one of the most fascinating aspects of Peel's work, and it's something that modern science has validated extensively. Positive thoughts energize the body and improve physical health, while negative thoughts literally weaken your immune system and drain your energy. When you're constantly stressed, worried, or thinking negatively, your body produces stress hormones like cortisol that suppress immune function, increase inflammation, and interfere with sleep and digestion. Over time, this chronic stress response contributes to everything from heart disease to depression to autoimmune disorders. On the flip side, when you maintain positive thoughts and emotions, your body produces beneficial chemicals like endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine that boost immune function, reduce inflammation, and increase energy levels. Inner peace improves physical health in measurable ways. People who practice positive thinking techniques consistently report better sleep, more energy, fewer illnesses, and faster recovery times when they do get sick. This mind-body connection isn't mystical or unscientific, it's basic human physiology. Your thoughts trigger emotional responses, which trigger chemical responses in your body, which affect everything from your posture to your immune system. When you understand this connection, you realize that positive thinking isn't just about feeling better mentally, it's about optimizing your entire physical system for peak performance. Think about how you feel physically when you're excited about something versus when you're dreading it. Excitement creates energy, alertness, and vitality. Dread creates fatigue, tension, and weakness. The only difference is your thoughts about the situation, but the physical impact is dramatic and immediate. One of the biggest obstacles to positive thinking is the habit of worry and fear. Most people have trained themselves to be professional worriers, constantly imagining worst-case scenarios and preparing for disasters that rarely materialize. Peel understood that fear is imagination used negatively, and he provided practical strategies for breaking this destructive pattern. The first step is recognizing that most fear is not based on present reality, but on imagined future problems. When you're afraid, ask yourself, is this fear based on something that's actually happening right now, or am I creating scary stories about what might happen? Usually, you'll find that your fear is about imaginary future scenarios, not present dangers. Replace fear with faith by consciously choosing to imagine positive outcomes instead of negative ones. If you're going to use your imagination anyway, why not use it to visualize success rather than failure? This isn't about being unrealistic. It's about being strategic with your mental energy. Focus on facts, not fear. When you're worried about something, gather actual information instead of letting your imagination run wild. Most of the time, the facts are far less scary than the stories your mind creates. Keep your mind busy with purpose rather than letting it wander into fearful speculation. Here's a practical example. Let's say you're worried about giving a presentation at work. Fear-based thinking creates scenarios where you forget your words, the technology fails, everyone judges you harshly, and your career is damaged. But when you focus on facts, you realize that you know your material well, you've prepared thoroughly, technology rarely fails completely, and most people are supportive rather than judgmental. The facts reveal that success is far more likely than the disaster your fear is imagining. Faith dissolves fear because it's impossible to hold both emotions simultaneously. When you're focused on your ability to handle challenges, on the support systems available to you, and on the positive outcomes you're working toward, there's no mental space left for paralyzing fear. Building genuine confidence requires more than just thinking confident thoughts. It requires taking confident actions, even when you don't feel confident yet. Confidence grows with action, and the more you practice behaving confidently, the more natural it becomes. Start by speaking and acting confidently, even if you have to fake it initially. Stand up straight, make eye contact, speak clearly, and take up appropriate space in conversations and meetings. Your body language affects not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. Practice gratitude regularly because it shifts your focus from what's missing in your life to what's already working well. When you consistently acknowledge the good things in your life, you develop a more positive baseline mood and a greater sense of personal power. Associate with positive people who support your growth and share your commitment to improvement. The people you spend time with have an enormous influence on your thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. If you are surrounded by negative, complaining, fearful people, it's almost impossible to maintain a positive mindset. Seek out relationships with people who inspire you, challenge you to grow, and believe in your potential. This doesn't mean you should abandon friends who are going through difficult times or avoid all negative conversations. It means being intentional about the dominant influences in your life. Spend more time with people who lift you up than with people who drag you down. The daily mental practices that Peele advocated are simple but incredibly powerful when applied consistently. What you repeat daily becomes belief, and beliefs drive behavior more than conscious willpower ever could. Start each morning with affirmations that reinforce your goals and positive self-image. These aren't empty positive statements. They're strategic reminders of who you're becoming and what you're capable of achieving. Spend a few minutes visualizing your day going well, seeing yourself handling challenges with confidence and making progress toward your goals. End each day with gratitude, reflecting on what went well and what you learned. This practice trains your brain to look for positive experiences and growth opportunities rather than focusing on problems and setbacks. Over time, this rewires your default thought patterns toward optimism and possibility. The transformation that comes from consistently applying these principles isn't immediate, but it's inevitable. As you change your dominant thought patterns, you change your emotional responses, your behavior, your relationships, and ultimately your results. People who commit to positive thinking don't just feel better, they perform better, earn more, have better relationships, and enjoy better health. Change your thoughts and you change your life. This isn't a platitude or wishful thinking, it's a practical strategy that works because thoughts are the starting point of all human achievement. Every success story begins with someone who believed that success was possible and then took the actions necessary to make it happen. Optimism is not weakness, it is power. In a world full of people who are quick to point out problems, limitations, and reasons why things won't work, the person who maintains genuine optimism and focuses on solutions becomes incredibly valuable. Optimistic people are the ones who start businesses, lead teams, solve problems, and create the innovations that move society forward. The power of positive thinking isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about approaching reality with the confidence that you can handle whatever comes your way and the faith that good outcomes are possible when you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your goals. Your life truly does move in the direction of your dominant thoughts. Make sure those thoughts are taking you where you want to go.